All right, welcome back. We got another guest in the studio, Mr. Ed Herman from Brown and Crouppen, lawyer extraordinaire and professional mixologist.
Yes, thank you.
Professional cereal mixologist.
I'll mix anything.
So the alcohol, whatever, it don't matter.
You got, I'll mix it.
But I'm telling you, your Ed versus cereal video is blowing up. I mean, blowing up everywhere. Has gone viral, dare I say.
I was shocked. Yeah, we've done just over 1 million views on Facebook and over 250,000 or close to 250,000 on YouTube.
Well, I first watched one of your videos. It was you talking about the movie Home Alone. I think I even referenced it on the air before I even saw your cereal video. It was you talking about how Kevin McAllister from Home Alone is the real villain in the movie.
Well, yeah, that's true. And if you really watch it closely, I think I make a pretty compelling case that that child is destined for jail.
Yeah, and you give a couple reasons as to why. First of all, he steals the toothbrush. Let us not forget that.
Right. He evades the police.
Uh-huh.
He hears voices from his furnace, and we all know that that's kind of a common thing among serial killers. Oh, my dog told me to do it. This guy, it's his furnace. Well, that's fine. And he could have called the police. His phones were working. He actually, if you watch it closely, he calls 911. So he's perfectly capable of doing it, but he didn't call them until after he toyed and played and tortured. The bad guys, the wet bandits.
Well, just remember the first thing he did when he discovered that his family was gone, he went and got his brother's gun.
That's right.
His brother's BB gun.
And he didn't shoot at cans. We show real clearly in the clip that he set up human targets and he had marksman's-like precision. I mean, he took them all out in one shot.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
9 years old.
Making me look at this show altogether different now.
I'm telling you, if he wasn't, the reality of it is, if he wasn't so cute, we'd all see the movie differently. If he had been Buzz, the older brother, the bully, we'd all be ready to put him in jail. Yeah. But the kid's cute, and that's the world we live in.
And not taking it away, from the wet bandits who are bad guys.
Oh yeah. No,
trying to rob all the neighbors and flooding their house and stuff.
Yeah.
But Kevin McAllister ain't no saint.
Yeah. No, and not to defend the wet bandits, but there's no evidence that they ever actually hurt anybody ever. I mean, they really, until they were pushed and they put them up on a hook, a door hook. But they're just typical thieves.
Right.
They went through a lot of trouble to make sure nobody would be home. They weren't looking to hurt anybody. Kevin was looking to hurt people.
You really are a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of part of the fun of that video. Is obviously it's satire, it's all in fun. But I figure I want to send the message to the public. If I am willing to go after a cute 9-year-old kid that hard, you can only imagine what I would do on your case.
Yes. Also, your video about Batman is pretty funny too. So you watch the movie Batman, from a lawyer's perspective, just to see how many laws were broken.
You do, and we tallied them up. We watch it, and I love The Dark Knight. It's a great movie, but like Batman's rap sheet is like 3 times as long as the Joker's. The Joker. I mean, Joker's a bad guy. There's no question. I mean, a real scary character. But I mean, Batman is just destroying everything. He's shooting out buildings. He's breaking laws. He's falsely imprisoning people. He's got a car that's not street legal. I mean, seriously, I mentioned it in the video, but I went to get my windows tinted just in my car, and everybody's like, "Oh, you can't tint them that dark; it's against the law." I'm like,
who do you think you are, Batman?
Batman doesn't even have but he has one tiny window.
Does he even have any license plates?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No turn signals. I've never seen one.
He's not using a turn signal. If I don't use a turn signal, I'm getting a ticket.
You think the Batmobile's going in for an emissions test?
No. I mean, there's no way. And he has that thing where he pulls down every street lamp. Remember when he flips over the Joker's truck? But who's going to fix that?
If nothing else, the amount of windows that the guys break, guy breaks is ridiculous.
I mentioned in the video, have you ever? I mean, windows are expensive. I don't know if you did window sponsor. If you have to replace one window, you're like, what? How much is that? This one window. He broke every window. You will not find a window in that movie that wasn't left broken after Batman got his hands on it.
I'd like to see you do that with some of these Marvel superhero movies. The Avengers.
Gosh.
Yeah, well, I was going to do one. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, but I was thinking of taking on Revenge of the Nerds because as I rewatched it, I realized that, the Alpha Betas, while they're kind of jerky, the stuff that they do is just really, at most, misdemeanors, and not even. It's more like hijinks. Everything the nerds do is a felony. I mean, there's sexual assault, but there's physical assault. They put, that hot
Icy Hot, yeah.
Yeah, Icy Hot in these guys' jock straps. Now, I felt for the guys there, the alpha betas. I'm not going to get into it, but I had an experience with some Ben Gay as a teenager, and you do not want anything mentally
near that
anywhere
near
in that area.
No,
that's assault. That's physical assault.
No, it's funny looking at 1980s movies through the glasses of a 2019 person or even a 2019 lawyer.
Right. Oh,
I mean, the scene in the bounce house. I mean, that guy's in jail forever.
And even before he gets to the bounce house, remember how they win the contest with the pie eating? They were cutting out illegally obtained pornographic photographs of this woman. They just put a little whipped cream on it, and then they sold it to people to lick off the cream. That's, I'm pretty sure not to get controversial, but I think we lost a governor over that same thing. And these nerds are doing it, and we're cheering for it.
Right.
Yeah. We're like, yeah.
That'd be a funny one for you to do. But this Ed versus cereal video you made a couple months ago has gone gangbusters.
Yeah.
I mean, as you mentioned, over 1 million views on Facebook. On YouTube, 250,000 views. It's because everybody loves cereal. Everybody loves cereal. And there you are in the video, in your bathrobe, just a normal guy. Here's how I eat cereal. Here's how to properly open up a package, which nobody really thinks about.
Right.
People just kind of get in there, just tear it open, and you got cereal all over the place.
Yep.
Right.
It's
Rule
not
number
porn,
one:
right?
never let a kid open a box of cereal. No good can come of that.
Scott, open up one. I mean, we got a ton of cereal here. So, Scott, open up some cereal and just show us how you would open it.
Oh, it's okay.
King Scott's going to open up some cereal.
Slide my finger under the.
And then when I open one, I'm going to go with the Cocoa Pebbles because I know from past experience that opens nice.
Okay, go ahead. Scott, open up. How would you open up cereal? Is that?
Yeah, I go right in the middle and then I pull. Like that.
That looks properly done.
Hey, let me tell you.
Is that the right way?
For me, that's pretty good. I mean, I probably would just sort of,
Take your fingers.
If you can get that internal bag and not ruin it and not ruin the outer box so that it can reseal, that's outstanding, young man.
Well done. Well done.
That's outstanding, young man.
I can't tell you how many people commented in, though, and they said, this is wrong. You shouldn't open it all the way across. You should only go 1/4 for freshness. But this is not right. I open it the whole way across because I don't just eat it out of a bowl. I will sit down on the couch with a full box of cereal, and this is my popcorn. And I got fat hands. I can't get it in if you don't open the whole thing. I mean, look at this.
Well, and he's got cinnamon toast churros.
I need the whole thing open to get my. And this is a new cereal. I'm not being paid anything by General Mills, unfortunately, despite my best efforts. They just came out with this. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch in churro shape, and this is a gift to cereal lovers because this is so much better than Cinnamon Toast Crunch in its regular shape. This has got crunch. We're going to use this in some of these mixes, and this is, if you haven't had this is a delight.
That's terrific. So,
take a bite. It's so good.
So there's one cereal you say is absolutely perfect that doesn't need to be mixed with anything.
Yes.
Normally, in the morning you just take your bowl of whatever, you just dump it in, and that's it. But you have made some different creations.
Yes.
But there's one cereal you say in the video that is absolutely perfect.
Right. Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries, because they've done the work for you. They basically took their own base, which is their regular Captain Crunch. They created the Crunch Berry, and they put it in there. If you were going to add anything to it, they have another cereal called Oops, All Berries, which is great because a lot of people.
Those are you just named my two favorite cereals.
Well, when I was a kid, and I think most people did this.
Are you dating anyone right now?
Well, we can talk after. All right. No, most people would sit there, and if you were snacking on it, you would eat out the Crunch Berries and just be left with basically Captain Crunch. What the Oops All Berries does is it lets you snack on all berries, or if you don't like the proportion of berries to crunch, you can use the berries and up your berry count, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, go to town.
But except, Captain Crunch is something that cuts up your mouth, though. That's
like glass. Like glass.
Everybody knows it, though. You got to fight through it.
You do fight through it because you have to earn it, and that's how you earn it. It's, but it's worth it. Like I say in the video, it really is worth it. It's the best cereal.
And there's another cereal that mixes with nothing,
right?
Which is Raisin Bran.
That's correct. Yeah, Raisin Bran, I think and some people have written in about that with some suggestions. I humor them, but I know. Nothing's going.
If you leave Raisin Bran sitting for more than 30 seconds in milk, it's wet cardboard.
It is, and sometimes I think you have to embrace that. I notice, and you brought in grape nuts.
Because that's Moon's favorite cereal.
Yeah, and I don't want to. If he loves it, cereal's very personal. I don't want to insult it, but
You can
Grape
insult
Nuts
him. It's
falls
okay.
into a category that I called they're wreckers. It will wreck anything you put it in because it doesn't match up. The texture is so hard. It's so dense. It's basically gravel, and you know that. You love it.
Yeah, I don't eat I don't eat it with gravel. I let it soak into the milk for at least 8 minutes or so, and until the milk
8 minutes.
I can't until I can't see the milk any longer.
Yes. Now, let me tell you, he's onto something because I was going to suggest, I went through a period of my life where I tried to eat healthier. I've gone through a lot of those periods. Just to be clear, none of them have
You
worked.
look great.
Thank you. Well, it's a feeling.
Absolutely.
It's more of an attitude. But Grape Nuts, there's one of the cereals that if you warm milk and sugar it up, warm the milk, you can save yourself. You won't have to wait 8 minutes for it. If you warm the milk a little bit, it actually gets it to a texture that is consumable for humans.
Yeah, which they say is wet cardboard.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to preheat my cereal. When I want cereal, I want bowl, cereal, milk, chow.
Yeah, well,
See,
you're missing out. The warm milk will also be good, I think, if you embrace the cardboard aspect of Raisin Bran. Because Raisin Bran is the only cereal, along with Grape Nuts, that you should put sugar in. You're much better off just using a sweet cereal to sweeten your cereal with.
I don't do sugar. I do a little fruit. It's either blueberries or cut up banana.
Yeah, well, cut up banana is delightful. In fact, in the video, because you can only put out a video, people will only watch you talk about cereal for so long. At least I thought. It seems like they would have done more, but I never got to cover fruit in cereal.
What are your thoughts?
Bananas are a nice ripe banana, thinly sliced.
Yep, dude. You don't need sugar. You let grape nuts soak up some of the milk,
used
put
to
some
love
bananas.
as a kid.
It's just delicious.
Frosted Flakes with sliced bananas.
Yeah. That's really just a great use of a banana.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to,
strawberries. Thoughts of strawberries in there?
you know what? If they're really ripe, if you take the time to cut them up real thin, it's just they're not as easy a banana. A banana, is like
Yeah.
and it's right in, and it doesn't slow you down. It's so delicious. Potassium, it's good for you.
good for you.
Make you feel like you're doing something good for yourself.
This may be a question you're planning on asking, but I'm going to represent Instagram Live here. They have some questions for the professional, and I think it's from LK Photo Chicago. Said, is there really a difference between off-brand and name brand?
There absolutely is. Now, that's not to say that you can't enjoy a bowl of the off-brand. But if I sat them side by side, I think on base cereals, if you say off-brand of Rice Krispies, you're fine. You're not going to know the difference between a Rice Krispie and a whatever they call the other, the fake Rice Krispie. Probably a Corn Flake too. But when you get to the sweet cereals, you know.
What about
because there's ratios and stuff.
What is the Aldi version of Cheerios?
Toasted O's.
Toasted O's.
Yeah, I'm guessing Cheerios is a base cereal. If it's their basic Cheerio, I think that's easily recreatable.
I think he's talking about the difference between Fruity Pebbles and,
Fruit Stones or whatever it might be.
Pot of Fruit Stones. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
There's no
Lucky Charms versus Marshmallow Mateys.
Yeah, there's no. I can promise you, and we don't have the generics here today. But if you put in front of me on the sweet cereals a generic versus the actual with the blindfold, I'm going to nail it 100% of the time.
Let's mix something. So we got your variety cereals. We got Corn Chex and Corn Flakes and Rice Krispies and Cocoa Puffs and Cocoa Pebbles and what else we got?
And Grape Nuts, the king.
We got Peanut Butter Crunch.
Yes. Yeah.
Trix. So let's mix something up here.
Yeah. Well, I think the first mix that I think we should go with today. Do you have Corn Chex there? You do.
We got Corn Chex.
Now,
so Scott, open up some Corn Chex.
I think if you pull out 3 cereals, pull out Corn Chex, pull out Cocoa Pebbles, and the Peanut Butter Crunch, Captain Crunch. See, what you're going to go for in a mix like this is going to be reminiscent to the great combination of chocolate and peanut butter. Now, I know listeners are probably thinking, why not just get the Reese's Puffs cereal? The problem with Reese's Puffs cereal is then you don't get contrasting textures. And what this combination is going to give you, you put the Corn Chex in to cut the sweet a little bit, you know? So, and to give you another texture. That's a nice crunchy, more crunchy than these are going to be. And then the other two, you can decide. Would you prefer a little bit more peanut butter to your chocolate or a little bit less? It shouldn't be equal. Remember, a Reese's peanut butter cup is not equal. It's pretty much peanut butter, and it's just coated in chocolate. When they make the Reese's Puff, they seem like they've gone with an equal amount of both. So it really doesn't taste. It's good, But if you're trying to recreate a Reese's experience, they didn't really nail it.
So when you're mixing, what do you always put in first? Is it the base cereal first?
You always put whatever is going to influence the milk the most is what goes in first. In this situation,
so whatever you want the flavor of the milk to be at the end, you put.
And basically, well, you should only be putting one thing in that's really going to affect the milk because you don't want your milk influencers to fight each other.
So milk influencers.
Right. Milk influences anything that's going to flavor the milk. So usually your chocolate cereals. And a chocolate cereal with a lot of surface area, like Cocoa Pebbles, is probably the best of the chocolate milk influencers because it's little pieces and they're covered in chocolate. So you're going to get a way more chocolatey taste with these than you will. I know we have some Cocoa Puffs in here, also delightful, but not as chocolatey. So you're gonna start with that on the bottom.
You're gonna start with so.
Milk influencer.
Cocoa Pebbles at the bottom.
I didn't hear anything after milk influencers.
They're on the bottom. And then, of course, we want just a little bit of the peanut butter there because these are pretty strong. And so you've got that going there. That's a nice way to
so
start.
you got Cocoa Pebbles, and you got the
peanut butter crunch. And then I'll put the corn checks in the middle. You do that, this is just such a delightful crispiness, and you're not going to get that same level of crispiness in these. These are actually kind of, they're like puffs.
Yeah.
They just don't have it.
Yeah, the corn checks.
And then I'm going to come out of that
with a little more peanut butter.
Like a chef that tastes the ingredients as it goes.
You got to taste as you go.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to also judge the size of your bowl. Obviously, we're working with rather small bowls here, which is fine. When I'm at home, I don't use a bowl. I have one of those large plastic cups with a handle. That's really in a perfect world, that's what we would all use because you can carry it around with you.
I just use the bowl from a stand mixer.
Well, as long as it's big. You know what we used to use in college were the Pyrex.
Oh, yeah.
We'd make everything in a Pyrex. You don't even need a bowl or a cup or anything. You just ramen, cereal, mac and cheese, whatever.
Spout and everything.
All right, and now we're going to do some milk here. Now, how much milk
Okay, now
do you
on
put
the
in?
video, I have a little fun with the idea that if any of your milk flips out the side of the bowl, then you know you have enough milk. But what you're really looking for is what's called the lift. There is a little moment where if you're watching a bowl of cereal closely, you now put in enough to where the buoyancy is such that everything in the bowl
lifts out.
Right. So
And that's when you know. When you see the lift.
As soon as the lift starts.
As soon as the lift starts, so he's pouring in. He's pouring it in. He's got the bowl. I don't see a lift yet.
No.
I don't see the lift yet.
You're spreading a bit, like you're moving the. You're not going.
Oh, I saw it. There's the lift.
That's it.
There's the lift.
You see that?
Saw the lift.
All of a sudden.
How important was you pour it straight in or you move the thing around?
I never gave it much thought, to be honest with you, until I started reading angry comments. Well, not angry comments, suggestions.
Yeah, sure.
Because we got like 10,000 comments on this video, and everybody had real strong opinions on it. And they were like, dude, he don't know nothing about cereal. He needs to stab it 3 times in the middle. I've never heard of that before. I've never stabbed my cereal. But apparently that's a thing, to be like, shh, shh, shh. It just seems hostile to me. I want to love my cereal. There's a loving here. That didn't seem loving to me.
All right, Scott, give that a taste.
So, give that a whirl. And you should, without much effort.
Should he mix it or should he?
Do you dig down to the bottom?
If I've done my job properly, he shouldn't have to.
Okay, now spoon size is important too.
This was another debate. I have to use a small spoon because for a guy with a big mouth, I actually have a rather small mouth from an eating perspective. So I use teaspoons for everything. But man, people went ballistic. And they were like, you got to use a big spoon. I'm like, that to me, that you're just rushing through the cereal.
Yeah.
I want to savor it. The more bites, the better.
Okay. Good, Scott.
Let's see if we have a winner
Take a bite here. That crunch.
Yeah.
That is
you
very
can hear
good.
the crunch a mile away.
Man,
That's
that's
very
great.
good.
Now, can you? Are you getting the corn in the corn checks coming
Yeah,
through?
at first it's like the corn, and then the peanut butter, now the chocolate.
That's the good finish.
Yeah, that is amazing.
You know how you go to a place and you get like a $9 cheeseburger? And you're like, I just spent this is what this is, a $12 bowl. And this is a rich man's game, just so you know. I was raised by teachers, which is probably why I like grape nuts. Because every time I go, ooh, I want that. I saw it on the commercial and it's got a brown orange box. My mom would go, that's $6.50.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think of it like this, because some people commented, and one of the biggest things people said was, in my family, you can never have more than one box open at a time. I don't know if that constitutes child abuse. It may. It may. But I will say this. I'm like, what's the difference? It's all going to get eaten anyway. Nobody's wasting any cereal. Cereal's not going bad.
Jeff always likes to tell a story at his house because he grew up with your dad and your brothers, and you'd roll through what? cornflakes?
Yeah, he would. My dad was a sheet metal worker, so he was living a paycheck to paycheck. So he would get, and we had 4 boys. He would do a non-sweetened and a sweetened box,
Right.
once a week, and he would say, "You guys go at it." And if the as soon as the pre-sweetened's done, you got nothing but Wheaties, or you got nothing but cornflakes. But the reverse of that was we would put half a pound of sugar on every single bowl.
Well, you made do. You did what you had to do. I mean, which is what I mean, that's
You
a
could have
beautiful
mixed.
thing. You could have mixed them. Well, and that's why I talk
where
about
was
that.
Ed?
Well, and I like to see. I'm an advanced mixer, so I really do like to change my textures in a mix. I want a flake and a puff and a crunch. But if you're just starting out, that entry level mixer is just what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is mixing the one sweet with the unsweetened, a frosted flake and a corn flake.
And you get a
I
good
showed in the
balance.
video. You do, and it lasts longer. And you don't. I mean, my father introduced me to it mostly because he was just, in his mind, he was cutting the sugar. He was like, I don't really want him to have the sweetened cereal, so maybe he can have half of that and half of that.
Right.
So that's where it all kind of got started.
So let's do. I'm sorry, Jeff. Let's do another mixture.
Yeah, let's change the tenor completely, and let's go with Rice Krispies, Trix, and the one with the marshmallows, even though that's not alphabets with marshmallows.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean,
it's the closest
Ed,
you can get.
said, "Hey, get alphabets with marshmallows." I could not find them. Right. They do not sell them at Dearborg's or Schnucks, so we got Mateys, which I think is kind of the same thing, but it's not. But Ed, you did in the video talk about some 2 cereals that you should not put milk over.
Yes, those are the ones that I call they're totally crunch dependent cereals. Honeycomb and Cookie Crisp. Now, I love both of those cereals. Those to me are popcorn substitutes. I will sit down with Honeycomb's probably the best snacking cereal because they're huge. It's like you're eating a wagon wheel. Yeah. Every one of them. Most other cereals are grabbing by the fistful and kind of disgustingly putting in your mouth.
Cookie Crisps are basically cookies. I mean,
they're little cookies.
They're little cookies.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have that? And this came up as you should eat it with a glass of milk. I'm not saying that milk doesn't go with these. I'm saying you let them mix in your belly. That's where the mixing should take place for those cereals. But Honeycomb is, as a snacking cereal.
Now, this is how you do not open up a box, right?
Oh, God.
Oh, you nailed it.
Look at the bag of Rice Krispies.
I mean,
who did that?
Who opened this
What
one?
monster did that?
All right, somebody's trying to make
Peanut
me cry.
butter crunch. Who opened that
Somebody's
box?
trying to make me cry.
Jeff did, actually, to be honest with you. That was Jeff.
Oh
Just
my
these three.
God!
And
What are
just
you
so
doing?
John over here. John has to have a bowl of Honey Smacks every night.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, let me tell you, we didn't get to cover Honey Smacks in the video, but those are delightful.
I mean, it killed me when they took it off the market. So I had to go to generic.
Because remember,
Yeah,
there was some kind of food outbreak.
And they
illness
had,
outbreak.
Post and General Mills would always compete, and they'd have like identical cereals, and that was one of those. They were Sugar Smacks, or which they then called Honey Smacks.
Right.
Is you couldn't have the word sugar anymore because it used to be Sugar Corn Pops. They took the word sugar out; it just became Corn Pops. They didn't change the recipe.
No.
But they thought, well, we're not going to put the word sugar in the label. But they would always have, and I don't remember what the equivalent was.
Golden Crisp.
Super Golden Crisp. Sugar Golden Crisp, and then Super. But those are delicious. That's like the nice, like a little puffed wheat with that good. See, you're bringing me down memory lane.
Oh,
here.
I'm
Now
telling you, I just
I'm looking at all
every
these
night I gotta
cereals,
have a bowl.
and now I just want that cereal.
Let's do one
See,
more
now on this
mixture
one.
here.
Okay, now on this we're going to start with a fruity base. Trix.
And this is the milk influencer.
Yeah, it's the milk influencer. Trix has gone through several changes over the years, and I'm not. Originally, they were all just balls, colored balls. And then they switched to this where they made it into the shape of the different fruits. And I hated it. And then they brought the balls back, and I was so excited. And now they brought the fruit shapes back and have gotten rid of the balls.
We talked about the Trix Rabbit the other day, how he is supposed to be the villain. But actually, the Trix Rabbit is the hero. All this guy wants is cereal. And these damn kids keep taking the cereal away from him.
Come on.
All right, so we got the Trix at the bottom.
And now we're going to go with Rice Krispies.
Little
right in
Rice
the middle.
Krispies.
And this is the only combination where I'm not going to go back to the Trix. I'm just going to go with the marshmallow mateys, which would be alphabets with marshmallows. And this is only because marshmallows were another topic I did not get to cover in the video. And I wanted to talk about Lucky Charms, and people ask me, they say, well, what's your position on marshmallows? And I said, what do you think it is? Marshmallows are delightful. Who does not like them? And I mean, they call them marshmallows, but
Moon,
obviously,
you don't like marshmallows? Really?
What? Well, now let me ask you this, because not all marshmallows are the same. There's the marshmallows that you roast on a fire.
Yeah, real marshmallows are fine, but
Okay,
the
see,
cereal
this-
ones are strange.
Oh no.
The cereal ones are a strange consistency.
Yeah, they're
I
totally
loved them when I was a
strange.
kid. and now they just
They're almost
much.
styrofoam.
You know what?
Styrofoam.
I think what it is that
They're
it's
like
one of
packing
those
peanuts.
Yeah, but you know what? It's one of those familiar tastes.
Yes.
Nothing else tastes like it. And as soon as you bite into one, you know exactly what it is. Takes you right back to being a little kid.
Yeah, but it's like a flavored packing peanut.
Ed's going to pour the milk. Now, what are we watching for? What the proper?
We got to look for the lift.
We're looking for the lift.
Up. See?
There's a lift.
That was it. Well, because the buoyancy. You have, well, think about it. I mean, a Rice Krispie is basically hollow, and the marshmallows obviously are very, very light. So you're going to get the lift a lot faster on this. The first one was a little bit more of a dense combination. So I'm going to send this one this way.
All right, Jeff.
Now, this one, you are going to have to kind of dig down a little bit.
Dig down a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't do 5 layers. I just did 3 layers.
I want you guys to all, hit up our social medias and watch Ed's video, Ed versus Cereal.
Right. And can we also mention, if anybody wants to see all of these videos, plus a bunch of other fun ones that we're making, because we're having a blast with this channel, what you want to do is just go to www.getbctv.com. And then you could subscribe to the channel and see this stuff like the day it comes out.
Because that's the Brian Krupa channel.
Yeah, we got so much good stuff coming up. My next video is on candy, Ed versus candy. It comes out February 1st, just in time for Valentine's Day. If you want to hear about my observations, and I ask a lot of important candy questions, like who's eating all the black licorice?
I had, you are.
My wife.
Dude,
Jeff
we
is the
totally
guy.
should be dating.
I like, remember blackjack gum?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love blackjack.
Yeah.
I loved it.
You still get that at Ben Franklin?
I don't know. But I watched you actually the other day film an Ed versus flying.
Airplanes,
Airplanes.
Yeah, that one is going to be coming out probably the end of March, and that's all about airplane etiquette. That if we can all just agree on these sort of principles, I think we'd all have like a way better flying experience.
Absolutely.
You know,
a lot of stuff I agree with too.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that just happen. Like little things, like like the window shade. Should it automatically be the person in the window seat who gets to decide if the shade is up or not, or should it be a vote amongst the 3 people in the row?
See, I think
we're all being
you
affected.
think it's a vote.
I just am raising the debate.
You're democratic about it. I'm like, I bought my window seat, so I get to control.
Now, let
the
me
window.
say, true. And when I'm in the window seat, I agree with you 100%. But when I'm in one of the other 2 seats, I'd like to put it to a vote. And I think that the person in the middle seat should automatically get the armrest. I think that they've otherwise been screwed.
That's a highly controversial subject.
It is. Well, I'm not. Let me tell you, I'm not afraid of controversy. I'm
talking cereal.
Yeah, I'm hitting this stuff head on. I talk about that horrible feeling of if you doze off right when they're taking beverage orders, and then you wake up and you see the 2 people next to you with their beverages. You don't have one. The woman's nowhere to be found. And just what a sick feeling that is.
You just got to tell them, hey, wake me up when the beverage comes.
Well, that's the thing. You got to prep for that.
See, I'm the opposite. Once I get into my seat, I put my headphones on, and I talk to nobody. I make no eye contact. This way, if it's a long flight, now I'm stuck with the person next to me, yapping.
Right. No, they're your best friend now. But that's the thing is, even when you choose your headphones, I find if I use my AirPods, people will still bug you because they're small. You want to send a message, you need the full over-the-ear,
gotta show the cord.
and that's it.
I
Gotta show the cord.
Take a
I agree.
trash bag, put it over your head too, so nobody can talk to you.
Unmistakable.
Tie it really tight. Yeah.
So listen, watch all of Ed's videos on getbc.com.
Wait, getbctv.com. And not just mine. We shot yesterday. We have a new series coming out that'll be launching, I think, at the beginning of March called 3 Lawyers Eating Sandwiches, where Terry Crouppen, Andy Crouppen, and myself, we go to big sandwich shops around town. We did Blue City Deli yesterday and Adriana's. That's going to be a really fun show. And we're doing something really cool with Albert Pujols that we're shooting this weekend. And that's going to debut on there for the last 2 weeks of February.
That's awesome. Well, we will look forward to seeing all that stuff. And, we'll have you back on again to discuss, topics like this because you are an expert on pretty much everything.
Absolutely.
Well, at least I portray myself that way.
That's Ed Herman from Brian Kruppen, lawyer extraordinaire, serial mixologist. And make sure you watch the videos on getbctv.com.